Hello, welcome to Aquarium Thoughts Live. I'm Dave. How is everyone doing out there today? Today I am going to be talking about difficulty levels, experience levels, whatever you want to call them. I'm sure you've seen them on. I'm pretty sure you've seen them on little signs, mostly at big box stores. That's what I'm primarily going to be talking about today. How's everyone doing out there? I hope everyone's well. Hey, Levi. Anyways, that's what I'm talking about today, which is basically difficulty levels in the aquarium hobby. Good morning, Nathan. How's it going today? As well as Mr. Unfiltered Aquarist. How are you holding up in this lovely times? I'm doing fine. I'm probably gaining some weight, being stuck at home for the most part, not getting my exercise in. Primarily for me, work has been my exercise, but being off of work for the time being, I don't get that exercise. But but basically this topic is actually from another lovely Facebook post. So what's the difficulty level? This is from this post right here, which is talking about German blue rams. Where this website labels it as expert only, and people, this poster wanted to know, are they actually expert only? Basically, they thought they were beautiful and would love a few in the tanks, which got me to thinking, okay, what is actually difficulty level? Let's see if I can do it. There we go. Basically, what exactly is a difficulty level in terms of keeping fish? And is it really arbitrary? I'm thinking it's really arbitrary depending on the source. Of course, they only give you typically 3 choices. You have beginner, intermediate, as well as expert. This, of course, on this German blue ram, basically shows it as expert. Of course, I'm doing great, Nathan. Holding up, trying to stay healthy. I know you were sick. Hopefully you're better now than what you have been. Hopefully everything's going well for you. You're still here, so I guess everything is fine for you. So, but shared on. Hello, Zen Ginger. Thanks for sharing that in Fush Tubers in Discord. Thanks for joining me, guys, today. Let's see here. Yeah, but basically on this, I just wanted to talk about the difficulty level. This fish right here, I think, is the perfect example of where things could be all over the place in terms of what people think. Is it expert fish? Is it beginner fish? Me personally, I think it's more of an intermediate to maybe somewhere in between intermediate and expert. I think with this fish, you get a lot of different opinions just because basically in what they are and how they are in the hobby right now. Yeah. Fish tubers, yes. That I and the U are too close together there, Zen. I do that all the time myself. Oftentimes when I type it typically like that, where it's together. But anyways, yeah, the German blue ram is one of those where it's gonna be. It's one of those fish where people have the easiest luck on them and other people don't. I think that a lot of that is, if I go to my next slide, you'll see that there's a lot of different opinions on this in terms of how hard they are to keep. I know there's one, if you look Let me see where I can find it. Here's one in the middle on the top. Definitely was not an expert when I had them. I got golden German blue rims at the same time. The golden ended up dying after a few months because I couldn't transition well. There's some here. Okay, here it is. Actually, I want to point to the one in the left-hand side. If you look kind of towards the bottom, there's one comment that says they're hard to keep, sensitive to pH and water quality. And then right afterwards, someone replies, no, they're not. I have 2 in them in a simple community, 55-gallon for years now, which I think a lot of that has to deal with. What the comment down on the right-hand side is basically stating the truth. It's because basically they're so inbred and forced on hormones. I think a lot of that is true. Primarily what happens is they become weak. I think a lot of it also has to deal with the water parameters. I think a lot of that has to deal with the water parameters on the fish. I think they can be finicky. I know a lot of fish are finicky because of the water parameters. I think a lot of them are finicky because of the water parameters. Some are, and that's in terms of the German blue rams. I think when you look at fish as well, a lot more actually get finicky because of what kind of foods they eat. The water parameters, can they be thrown into hard water, soft water? Some fish are pretty all over the place, but we like to put these labels on how easy they are to keep, and it's a simplified method. They don't go into depth too much about what kind of water parameters, what kind of foods they take. Are they temperature sensitive? Now that's another thing with the German blue rams is they do like warm water, whereas other fish do like cooler waters. And I think that's where it gets what's the word for it? It gets a little trickier because if you don't keep it at certain temperatures, they don't thrive as well. Pistogrammas are another one that can get like that. Some require really soft water, and most pistogrammas probably do. There are a few like your cockatoides and the agazizes, which are more off. They really require soft water, although they're probably thriving better in soft water, but they will probably do okay in hard water as well. I bought 6, and after 3 months, I started losing them, about 1 per month, not like together. I'm guessing you're talking about the German blue rams. That's how German blue rams have been for me as well. They would survive for a few months and they start dying, which I think they're a fish that really do actually require the softer waters. I know where I'm at. I do have hard water. Just because the way the Southern California water is, it's hard water. That's why I kind of went towards more of my African cichlids, like the Mabunas and my like Tacanikas. Mine were in community at 79. I just bought more, and I'm going to try them in the discus than at 83. That's the other thing I've read a lot about German blue rams is they do like really warm waters into your 80s. I personally don't like keeping my tanks in the 80s, primarily because electricity costs and the other type of fish I do normally carry. But in terms of difficulty level, I think it's a more complex issue than just labeling a. Yes, Levi, you can have some candy. I think it's a little more complex than just stating, okay, it's a beginner fish, it's an intermediate fish. Even a beginner, I think if if you treat it as the right temperature levels, right water parameters. I think even a beginner can probably keep certain fish that in a lot of areas they'll be intermediate or expert, but a lot of it depends on your actual water. But then again, is a beginner really going to be able to know how to keep those water parameters perfect? Which I think there's a lot better systems in terms of, okay, I think there's more to labeling that needs to be required. I think most places put like beginner, intermediate. I think a lot of it also has to. I think they also need to add, okay, what kind of really water? What's the difficulty on the water parameters? What basically in terms of temperatures and the softness and hardness. Which I think a better system is actually maybe a number system where the first number might be like, okay, what's the general consensus? Is it beginner fish, intermediate, and then maybe the next number, okay, what's the difficulty level in the water? Maybe even throw in a water difficulty in breeding, because I think maybe a lot of it is basically the most beginner fishes should be those that can use throw in any kind of water and it survives. Intermediate is probably going to be more of the fish that do require these water parameter issues, and then the hardest ones are the ones actually maybe with the water parameters as well as feeding. What are your guys' thoughts? Do you think when they label these difficulty levels can they thanks Lynn, can they do more than what they're doing rather than just labeling them as beginner, intermediate, or expert? Just tell me your thoughts in the comments or as well as live chat as it goes on. That's pretty much my thoughts so far. Let's see here. My water is 7.6 and 330 TDS. I wonder if that's my issue. In terms of German blue rams, like that's going to be, because with German blue rams especially, there's ideas all over the place on it. I know some people, if you read what they've experiences from their sources, it's dependent on where the source comes from. Your water is 7.6 with 330. That's actually a lot better than mine. Mine's about 7.6 with like 400 TDS. So, and I never had luck with them as well. But I know with some people, they say if you get them from local breeders, they have better luck. I think a lot of that because is when they grow up when they're raised in those waters, they do better. But I still didn't have luck that way either. I know some people, if you look at the comments right here, let me pull that up again. If you look at, let me see here. Let me find the comment again if I can find it here. Let's see here. Okay, it's basically the very first one on the left right here. Let me pull up in my largest screen here. Basically, years ago, I had some. I have hard alkaline water here, and in order to keep these guys, I got an RO system and everything. You definitely need to research, and if your heart is really set on them, all the work is worth it. So basically, like that post right there, pretty much actually went out and bought an RO system, which maybe you might have to do on that. I wouldn't go full RO. If you do that, maybe go half and half, or just to bring some of those CDSs down. Because basically, I know a lot of people do say they do like soft waters and stuff like that. Just like a lot of those kind of cichlids, like pistogrammas. If you look at pistogrammas, primarily the majority of them do like soft water. Which is one downside for me is I'd like to keep a lot of the other pistogrammas that are out there, but I can't because of the hard water. Which is why when you saw in the past, I did go with the cockatoides because they have more wider range. But definitely, Zen, the TDSs is probably what's doing it in. But you might maybe find a local breeder out there and maybe locally source them better. And the other thing with the blue, I see this constantly on the blue rams is the issue with the claims of them being so inbred that they're a weakened strain, which I don't know if that's just a cop out for people killing them so much or not. That could be the case, or might just be, like I said, the cop out on that. But if you do really want to keep them, maybe try RO system, see if you have better luck with that. I know as far as expert levels, difficulty levels, there's a lot of fish out there that are pretty easy. I know my multis are very, very easy. My babunas have been okay. That's the other thing in terms of difficulty levels that a lot of people don't look at is the aggression levels. The aggression levels do play a part in the difficulty levels, because if you have a very, very aggressive fish, you have to have more knowledge to keep that in check, which a lot of these things, people, if you look at the list on the sheet that they put in the big box stores, they'll have these levels, but they don't really make it a good point of actually that they're actually intertwined. I think and a lot of them, like the Mabunas, they put on the list and they're saying that they're intermediates instead of like beginners. But I think a lot of that is actually in terms of the aggression levels. If this batch doesn't work, I think I'm going to pick a different fish. Yeah, that's the other thing you need to do. I think a lot of people really, really love one keeping fish. And a lot of them, they're basically a lot of fish that they do want. They don't go well with the water that they have, and then they fight. Then they hello, Anthony, welcome to joining here. I think a lot of people they see these fish like me with the epistogrammas. I'd really, really love to keep a lot of them. I could probably buy a lot of them and then just fight the water type with it. Because like I said, I have hard water. A lot of them do like soft water, and I know a lot of people do it. And they're just saying, okay, I'll try to make my tank soft water, and then they fight that. Hello, Griffin Fish Room. And I think that's I think that's one mistake that a lot of people make is they think that they can fight the water parameters, which is it's just an uphill battle. Personally, it's not something I want to take on. Primarily because it's going to make me get frustrated and then just decide, okay, I give up on it. This is just the work required just to keep it. I know a lot of people out there, they do love the work, but when you're busy, when you're busy trying to climb poles, it's kind of hard to take care of all those water parameters, as well as keeping the fish fed, keeping the fish tank clean. And then you just start putting things off to the wayside, just primarily because it's just a lot of work. My opinion on keeping fish is just to keep it simple. Don't make it too complex. I made some things complex in the past, and it just didn't work out too well because primarily it just gets to a point where I'm like, do I really want to do this work constantly every week, every day? But yeah, Anthony, stay safe climbing that pole. Don't try not to look down too much. That's one thing I wouldn't be able to do is climbing poles. If I don't feel secure, I'm definitely afraid of heights. I'll be one of those people who climb the pole and just fall because I'm too worried about falling. But how's work been going for you, Anthony? Have they been keeping you busy? Hopefully you've been able to keep your distance from people while working, doing what you do. I noticed you haven't really gave a lot of videos on customer tanks lately, so I'm guessing you have been keeping your distance. I'm going to get some water here. I'm terrified. Terrified of climbing poles. Yeah, I'm probably more terrified than you were. I'm probably more terrified than you. I wouldn't be able to get up the second step of it probably. I'd be frozen to the ladder. I've climbed onto my kitchen counter once, and I just got terrified just being on the kitchen counter. That's just with heights with me. Although I'm very, very funny with it because I do love roller coasters, and I'll go on those all the time. And I'll do that. Primarily, I actually feel more secure sitting in the seats with the straps and whatnot. Quite busy. I've had opportunities for customers to think, but staying out of houses as much as possible. Yeah, that's one thing you have to do nowadays. And I'm sure customers appreciate that. I'm pretty sure they probably don't want you in the house as much as, although some people probably wouldn't care considering that they're out and protesting right now. But give me 1 second. Yes. What you guys need?
Hi.
Hi.
Guess what?
What?
Then go the robot bad robot.
Called Bad Robot? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Love you.
Let's see. Yeah, I don't think Fair Heights is irrational. But and definitely, Anthony, yeah, we probably have to head up Knott's next year. Maybe get more fish tubers in California to do that. Maybe get together on that. Yes, and it's not the fear of heights; it's the fear of falling. That's pretty much what it is. It's my survival instincts kicking in. I don't want to die. Many don't care. Their internet is more important. Yeah. Their internet's more important. Their need to actually be in public's more important. I know my neighbors have been having little get-togethers, which freak the crap out of me because I'm in one of those. I'm in one of those categories, which if I catch it, it's going to be a very bad situation for me. So I just want this done and over with ASAP, and people are trying to make it last longer because basically they read things online and social media and they take it word for word. They're not, yeah. But I'm not going to talk about that much into depth there. But anyways, I think that's going to be about it in terms of what I had to talk about. How's everyone's fishes doing out there? I know during this whole thing, there's a lot of things I still need to take care of in my house that I haven't had a chance because I'm trying to stay out of Home Depot when I don't need to be in Home Depot. I try to do stuff that I have to do rather than stuff I really love to do. But in terms of that, I think I'm going to cut this stream here. It's been about 24 minutes. Hello, Redfish, Bluefish. Thanks for joining me here, even though it's at the end. Hope you catch the replay on it. I think this, of course, unfortunately, I don't think everything that was in the top of my head actually got expressed in the stream. That's one thing. I have lots of ideas in my head. Unfortunately, it's a problem getting it all out. But let me get some diagrams, and I'm going to actually show you what my idea of is on a better system for difficulty levels, which I think is a little bit better in terms of expressing all the intricacies. I can't, which I can't express fully. But I'm going to go ahead and get a piece of paper. I'm going to show you what my idea. I don't know the feasibility on this one is, but I'm going to share it with you anyways. So give me 1 second.
Let me know. Why is David? Okay. I'm David. Mine's Girl Talks. doing it right now.
Hey, leave out here. Come on.
Okay. Hello, Dad. Is that part of the video now?
Yes, yes. No. Now go back with your toys.
Can I hug you?
No.
Okay.
Okay. Anyways, I'm back. I hope you enjoyed my stand-ins for the second there. But primarily, my idea is basically having a number system, which each number means something. We have something like this, where you have maybe like 4 numbers. Each one maybe going from a range from 1 to 3. The first one will probably like that 0 would be you could rank it in anywhere from like 1 to 3, and that's basically the difficulty levels. 1 would be beginner, 2 would be intermediate, and 3, of course, would be the expert. But primarily these others, like the one spot right here, that's going to be like okay, what's the water parameter difficulty? 2 might be the feeding difficulty, and this number 3 spot would be the breeding difficulty. That way, it's a system I think would actually explain the difficulties more. But this is just a thought. I don't know what the feasibility is in the real world. Probably not very feasible. That's just a thought I had. Of course, when you're listing these difficulties on a sign, they could actually put that in other areas as well. But that was just my thinking. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this stream now. Thanks for joining me. Next week, I'm probably gonna do another stream. I'm probably gonna do a little giveaway. So take a look at that one next week when I hopefully do a stream. So anyways, thanks for joining me. Have a good day. Keep researching and keep learning. And see you next time.